Do you find people around you don't understand you? That's a big one, isn't it? Because there's another complaint. When you're awakening, or you're healing, or you're depressed, or you're feeling lonely and you're feeling shut away, it's going to be a lonely journey. And that is what actually makes it very lonely, because you've got no one to express or to explain, or somebody to listen to you. When somebody listens to you, you're hoping that they're going to help you. By listening to you, they are helping you because you're kind of venting what it is that you need to say. And sometimes when we speak to somebody, it unleashes something within us, and then we can get a ha-ha moment. So for any of you that are going through, maybe you've got a child, let's say you've got a child that's going through depression, and you as a parent, you're not quite understanding how to talk to them. It's not the talking to them, it's the listening to them. They just want to be able to speak because they're trying to tell you everything, but in that position of where they're at, they will struggle of being able to really express and explain what is going on, because in hindsight of it all, we don't actually really know what's going on. We're just hoping that as we speak and communicate with somebody, we're hoping that something comes to the surface and we kind of get it. If you as a parent sort of are still wanting to sort of put your beliefs in, or you want to say something about it, again, be very careful, because in the moment of being in depression or suicidal, lost and feeling abandoned at some point in it all, you have to be really careful in how you answer, because if your answers are not good enough, or they feel that you're sort of having a go at them, or they feel that you're actually not listening, they will start to shut off away from you. And so therefore we go into that energy, and we've all done it as children. I'm not going to bother telling you. What's the point of me telling you? You just don't listen. Now, you as a parent, me as a parent, we've all done it. In being a parent, as we grow up and we teach the children, you know, some people are good at listening, some people are really not good at listening, because we're still too bogged up within our own minds to be able to really truly listen. So listening is an art in itself, because if you can listen to yourself, to your body, to your mind, and to your energy, that is meditation. And if you can listen to somebody else's dilemma or problem, then you're halfway there. You're 90% there, because the art of helping somebody is actually listening to somebody. So listening to somebody is very important. It's good for you as a being. It's good for you in your own spirituality. And not only that, you get to learn, because it's your child. And in your child is a representation of you and the father or the mother, whoever I'm talking to here. And as I always say, it's like two robots, you know, they sort of mate and they build a robot. Well, that robot is only basically going to do what's been inputted into that robot. And then that robot will play out its life, and it will play the characters of you, or you play the characters of your husband. You may see essences of your grandparents in there. Other than that, we can't seem to go too far back to find out personalities of people. And that's why, you know, my eldest once said to me, "Dad, I don't know why I'm being like I'm being. It's driving me mad. I don't like being the way that I'm being. I hate it." And it took me some time to sort of understand it, but when I did understand it, it made common sense. It was pretty obvious. So I then explained to her that this is easy to explain, because the reason why you're like you are is because that's how your mum and dad has built you. And because of your mum and dad's experience, you've taken that all on board. And so therefore it's made you the experience. And so therefore, as you grow up, you become this being that your programming, i.e. the parents, have taught you to be. So that means if you and your husband, or you and your wife, have had lots of arguments and you never really quite got on, you can't expect a child to be angelic. It's not going to happen. That child has been around arguments all its life. So what is it going to do? Pretty obviously, again, it's going to argue with you. It's going to fight you. And you know, the shame of it is that when they get into a relationship, they're going to find that to be the norm. And that's a very difficult thing for them to understand. And of course, they will then go through lots of relationship heartaches within themselves because they believe that that's the way it is. That's the way they've been taught. That's the way they've been shown. So to have wisdom, I suppose, is to know your journey. Speak very honestly with your children, because if you don't explain who you are, then the child will never know who they are. And that's what I did. Explained everything, put your hands up and sort of say, you know what, kid, I didn't know then, you know, but as I've grown, I realised my mistakes. I realised the damage and the injury that I've caused on my children just because I was unconscious. So being conscious to the fact of really speaking to your children. And here's the key. Don't speak to them like a kid, because they're not a kid. You know yourself, when you was about 10, 11, 12, you thought you was a grown-up. You couldn't wait to leave school. You thought you could go out and get a job and survive on your own. You know, we have great courage at an early age within our lives. And the time you're 14, 15, 16, hence why many children will run away, because they feel that they're mature enough to be able to sort of look after themselves. So again, it's really important to learn the art of listening and telling the truth. So people around you that don't understand you, it's well known really. Nobody seems to understand anybody. And I feel that the main reason behind that is because we're actually losing the art of communication, especially with internet and Facebook and me on the YouTubes. I'm basically sitting here talking to a camera hoping that somebody's going to listen to me or understand the story that I'm giving them. So that's where we're at. And, you know, there may be a point within me that I may stop all of this because I need to get out and around people, because I love people. I love being connected with people. But the world that we're living in at this moment, we're all being shut away. You might as well just make a load of friends on Facebook and talk to them. So technically what we've become is typists. And I hate typing. I wasn't designed to become a typist and keep messaging people, how are you? You're never going to get to the bottom of that. You know, so we are losing ourselves in the form of communication. So trying to understand yourself before you can allow someone else to understand you is a very important thing. And this is why I do these shows, so that I can share my story, and hopefully then it will begin to sort of spread into you, that at least you may look at me and sort of say, okay, somebody understands me. Somebody's gone through the same journey and is being able to explain that journey in a completely different way, better than I could explain it, as in you could explain it. Okay, 2 more questions here. Do you feel that you have the gift of healing? I think a lot of people that have been connected to the awakening or the ascension, or are getting a lot of spirit connection, whether it's good or bad spirits. There's an interest in the spiritual realm. There's an interest in whether you're buying crystals or doing meditations or doing yoga, whatever it is. I find that a lot of people that get into this is because their journey in life didn't really give them the answers. And so therefore, we try to find an alternative to maybe there is a solution to the problem that we've been experiencing through most of our lives in spirituality. And I kind of look at that and I say, okay, there's a lot of spiritual things out there. There's a lot of people's stories out there. But one of the things that I find is that people don't talk about the nitty-gritty. They don't talk about the shitty stuff. You know, they don't tell you how they got through. They just want to give you the answers of, look at me, this is how I am now that I'm through. But with me, with these shows, I'm trying to give you it in depth of how you will feel and how much it will be painful, because you're releasing an idea and a belief system of who you thought you were, and you're trying to recreate yourself again. That is a very painful journey. So I kid you not on that. But do you feel that you have the gift of healing? I think it's been a mystery for a long time, because the body is an incredible instrument. You know, you cut yourself, a couple of days later, it heals itself up. Your body is healing itself every single day. You've got cells that are dying and you've got cells that are rebirthing. You know, it's an incredible factor, isn't it? That the way that we work as a system, this intelligence, you know, you have to go to the God self, don't you, really? Because it's phenomenal. And that's what I love about being me rather than the human side, because the human side doesn't take much care about that. It doesn't really communicate with the self that much. So I wanted to know whether or not I could heal. Could I heal my anger? Could I heal my depression, my anxiety, being lost even? Could I heal that? Could I understand my journey in the past of why people did what they do and all of these things, and who did I need to forgive, and how did I let this energy go? What did healing really mean? Is it true? Could I heal my eyesight? Could I see the kingdom of heaven? Could I feel the kingdom of heaven? Could I see and feel and hear spirit? Was it all possible? In the earlier days, not so much really, because you're not into it. So it seems like the more dramas that you have in your life, it will push you towards the spiritual end of the stick. And that's why I say to people, you know, even though we're dealing with a lot within the past, and we feel that the past has been bad and you're really upset and you're very angry about it all, the biggest thing for me, how it worked for me, is that moment when I had an enlightening moment where I'd realized that all of these people actually played a very important part for me to become the man that I actually didn't know I was going to become. When I was trying to find answers from different people, psychics, mediums, clairvoyants, healers, there wasn't too many around. You couldn't use YouTube and Facebook to try and find out if someone was enlightened or not. So there was an occasional book. There may be an occasional college, a few little places dotted here and there, but you'd have to travel to them. But again, I still never found them answers. And it's interesting, as I went through this process to discover the answers. And so therefore that made me the man that I searched for. You see what I'm saying? So the being that I was searching for, that was hopefully going to give me my answers, I actually became that man that had the answers. And so therefore, again, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I discovered, well, a completely new meaning to life, a new identity to who we are, which is be me, BME, because I know that I've got a body, I know that I've got a mind, and I know that I've got energy. And again, we'll get into a lot more of what the be me means, and hopefully by the end of this series, you'll actually start to understand that bloody makes sense to me. So for anyone that's going through this process, you will definitely be needing the new identity of Be Me. And once you start to get it, it will make perfect sense to you. And once you fully understand the Be Me, balance my ego, balance my emotions, become mindfully empty, be my experience, brilliant mind entity, brilliant mind enlightenment, Buddha made easy, the list goes on. Beginning, middle and endings. It's all brilliant. It's all coming. So let's carry on. So if you do feel that you have the gift of healing, please pursue that. Learn all that you can about healing yourself. Now, what's the main important thing that you're healing yourself from? One is obviously the pain. Two, obviously the mind. But the most important thing I discovered to finding the true self is that you're trying to actually heal yourself away from being human. It's a big one, I know. Took me a long time to understand that, because when I was kind of getting the messages coming through, I couldn't find the plateau. I couldn't really see where this was going to be sitting. And little did I know that I was going to change the identity of the word human into being a beamy, because in actual fact, when we kind of look at it, what does human mean? There is no real truth behind human that says that's who you are. So somewhere along the timeline in our evolution, somebody decided to say that we were human beings. It's like anything, any identity on this planet. It's only come from a human being that's turned around and said, I think we'll name that a tree, or we'll name that a bird. And then not only is it just a bird, we'll give it individual identities. See where we're going? This has gone way beyond what spirit is, because within spirit and within your own spirit, it doesn't actually contain words. It's all about feeling, and it's all about energy. The sun does not know it is the sun. Planet Earth, it doesn't know that it's planet Earth. You know, so we're looking at identities that are not really real and not really true. And it does get a little bit wonky, especially for me, because I thought I was actually going to rename everything. But then the biggest discovery was, no, dename everything. Don't title anything, don't call anything, because it causes a separation. Me white, me man, you black, you woman, you Muslim, me beamism now. All different identities, you know, you child, you're a niece, you're a teenager, you're an adult, you're an old age pensioner. Oh, it's too much. But it's just the language that allows us to communicate. But the true language actually doesn't use words. And the way that you can really understand that the true language doesn't use words is because the feelings that you're feeling, the reason why you can't explain it, or that you can't seem to heal it, is because there is no words. You know, when I was going through the depression, which was the first stage, in the caterpillar stage, you know, I looked at the word depression, but my body didn't understand the word depression. And it's the same with the word cancer, see? You know, when people say, oh, you know, I've got cancer and there's cancer in my body and all of these things. But your body does not know that that's called cancer. What's actually fueling that now is the fear of. And the reason why I can talk about that is because I did have that phone call where I was in a lot of pain. And they said to me, you know, I've got cancer, size of a tennis ball, a tumour. Well, that was a nice Monday morning shock, let me tell you. And I had two options with that, you know, either go into the fear and sort of basically say, okay, well, it's all over, my life is going to end. Or, you know, go through all the cycles of being prodded and having this, that, and then whatever done, and not knowing if there was going to be a 100% cure at the end of the day. But see, that was the beginning of my healing, see. I looked at it and I kind of thought, it may not be called cancer, but what it was years and years of stress in a certain area. We call them chakras now, but, you know, just looking at the solar plexus, everybody suffers in the solar plexus. That's why women always suffer in the solar plexus. Men normally suffer around the heart areas because they're not kind of loving beings. So we'll always suffer with an heart condition somewhere along the line. But when you sort of understand healing, and as I said, you're trying to feel the body, look what's going on. You know, is there a liver complaint, a pancreas complaint, irritable bowel system that's going on there, that's a complaint, ovary complaint. You know, it's all remotely connected to the way that we feel about ourselves and the life that we've been leading. Again, I'll express and talk about this a little bit more because I'm still trying to take you to the beginning. As I say, I've got so many more years of this to be able to give to you. And, you know, this is just one of the first books that I did. And, you know, it was the first time that I ever begun to even think I could write. You know, it drove me mad, to be honest with you. So, last question on this page. Do you ever feel that there is more to life? There's got to be a yes to that, isn't there? I think everybody has questioned that. I know in England, and I know from the area that I come from, and basically everyone that I know, we all look to the heavens, don't we, and sort of say, there's got to be more to life. This just cannot be it. And it's true. This isn't it. The human way, the human life, the human programming, if you was to write it down, it's pretty vacant. It doesn't really do much. And I've actually wrote that down somewhere. I'm not sure if it's in this book, but from the moment of being born to where you stand today and all the things that you've done, it's a couple of A4 pages. What seems to fill it up in between that is your experiences, and then there's your dramas, and then there's your fears, and then there's your emotions, then there's your success, your failures, your loves, your hates, your illnesses, and then there's death. So it doesn't take much. It doesn't take long to work it out that, the first 16, 17, 18 years of your life, you're basically at school. So you've just been learning a lot of stuff that sometimes doesn't even make much difference. And then hopefully between 18 and 65, maybe 70, you're working. And in that process between that age, you've had children, maybe you've got married or engaged, and maybe you've had grandchildren. Maybe you've bought your house, maybe you haven't. Maybe your children love you, maybe they don't. There's not many options. So to feel that is there more in life can only come from you, which means to say, is there more of me in this life? Is there more of me I can accomplish? What is my potential? Can I think differently? Can I feel differently? Can I do miracles? Can I achieve something that is kind of impossible but can be made possible? Now, it's no good turning around and saying to yourself that I want to become a millionaire if you're not on the road to try to become a millionaire, unless you win the lotto, but then make sure you're doing scratch cards every single day of your life. That's the only chance that you have. So to find something within yourself has to have a little bit of a spark. It has to have a little bit of a passion in there. There has to be something that you feel that you can connect with, something that gives you the drive to move towards. Because being a hairdresser, makeup artist and a photographer, I taught myself all of them skills. Nobody gave me that. When spirituality came in and spirit came in and healing came in and beamism and the empathy healing philosophy, I couldn't research that stuff. So there was something in me that sort of, as I said, wanted to be a healer. I wanted to heal myself. That was the main interest because I just didn't like the pain I was in. So the first thing I did was kind of heal myself, and then it kind of develops from there. And then you sort of go and try it on somebody else, and then you start to think, okay, well, this is amazing. And so therefore you start to awaken and you start to walk away from the life that you once had. And you're, with your own intentions, you're moving towards a new career. Whereas beings say, and they feel that one, they've got no gift, two, they're not creative beings, three, they don't know what to do with their lives, and four, they just feel absolutely useless. Well, God didn't make you like that. That's programming, because you're no different from me. I'm no different from you. We just sense things differently, or we feel things differently, or we react differently. But even within that, it's still the same. It still delivers us one thing, and it delivers us as pain. So it's pain we're always trying to get out of. And again, this is what healing is about. So to discover, is there more about life? It's more about you. So you need to write down, what is it that you would love to do? And In your system, in your intelligence, there is nothing greater than healing yourself. There is nothing greater than awakening. There is nothing greater than trying to heal something within you. There is nothing greater than helping another being. It far outweighs anything that I'd ever learned on this planet. And it was the most amazing gift to discover something about myself that seemed difficult at first, but in actual fact, it was natural. I kid you not, all of this stuff is very, very natural. You're going to kick yourself when you do discover how natural this is, and in actual fact, being a human being was what was making your life difficult. So stay tuned. This is a series of Be Me Healing. There's going to be loads more of this coming up very soon. My name is Trevor Owsley, teaching that there is another way forward, and it's called Beamism. I am a beamy being living on beautiful Mother Earth. See you soon.